Hey everybody. It's as if someone is prepared to call Child Protective Services to report the abuse of the child Ayeesha, the bride of Prophet Muhammad. This is again another classic example of Westerners putting Western new modern filters on ancient history. We talked previously about debate and what constituted fair religious debate. And people will say, hey, I want to debate Islam. And I want to talk to you first about Ayeesha because she was so young that the Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile for being with her. I find this so offensive, and I think that's part of the lure for people who claim to want to debate Islam. They're actually looking for the most prurient, the most disgusting, the most vile, offensive topic to cover, when putting on a ruse that as if they're engaging in a religious debate. Because there's a lot more to the Prophet Muhammad in Islam than just one of his wives. My experience is someone will say, well, I'm trying to make a character assessment of Prophet Muhammad to prove whether or not he was viable or capable of being one of God's messengers. Now, I don't know what the criterion for being one of God's messengers is. I don't think anybody knows the criterion for being one of God's messengers. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say anybody who wants to debate Islam and all they want to talk about, or the first thing they want to talk about, is Ayeesha and pedophilia, they have no desire. Those people have no desire in a debate. You might as well stop the debate before you start, because all they want to do is try to stir you up and agitate you using words like pedophile. Pedophilia is basically a concept for which the taboo didn't even exist back when Prophet Muhammad was alive. The young brides, old brides, and these young brides, Moses, you look through the Bible, you look through history, you look through my own family history, all of our family history, there were brides that were 12 years old or younger. They were old enough to menstruate, they were somebody's bride. That's the way it was. We take our Western filter and we impose a current taboo on ancient history. Could you imagine in the caveman days, a man being a cross-dresser? Were there cross-dressers when everybody was just wearing animal pelts? Could you be a cross-dresser? No one, I don't know. So no one's going to call Child Protective Services on Prophet Muhammad. Matter of fact, if there was a problem with that behavior of having a younger wife, no matter what her age was, if it was illegal or immoral, people wouldn't have posted it everywhere. No one started complaining about Ayeesha until what? How many years ago? Very recent modern history. Now we're looking at it through modern history filters and judging Prophet Muhammad for having an underage bride. An underage, what does underage mean? Consider America today. We have 18-year-old boys who are legal adults who are not fit to get married, to have kids. They're technically at the age of consent, but they are not fit for anything. They're not fit for a relationship. Matter of fact, an 18-year-old boy could be with his 17-year-old girlfriend here in America, and he could be breaking the law by being with her physically. I know 18-year-old boys who have 16-year-old girlfriends. If they have sex, he can go to jail. But the fact is, she is more mature than he is. And they're both too immature. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say both the 16-year-old and the 18-year-old typical American kid are less emotionally mature than a 15-year-old in India. Or a 14-year-old in India. Or maybe a 13-year-old girl or boy in India. Because of the way we baby our children and our adults. So, again, if someone claims that they want to debate Islam and all they want to talk about is Ayeesha, they don't want to debate Islam because there are so many other topics, real viable topics, rather than digging in the trash and trying to find, using Western filters, things that offend us today, and trying to use that to judge the character of a man who lived hundreds of years ago, whose behavior was deemed societally acceptable. It was a non-issue. So we're going to take non-issues from the past and turn them into issues today because of our filters. And I think one of the problems with a lot of Westerners who debate, they don't recognize, us people from the West don't recognize the filters that we're seeing the world through. We think we have this pure, filterless vision of what's right and what's wrong. But our vision isn't perfect, and we should not just automatically assume, as often we do, that our way is right and our way is better, and that we have evolved and everybody else has not. And I know you can cite examples where it's very clear that some of our behaviors are much more evolved, especially in the area of free speech, which is that dual-edged sword that tortures so many people but gives us the freedom of expression. So anyway, let me know what you think.